Hello, this is Smarto Day and welcome to my lessons, SD Lessons. Today I am going to explain you respiration in plants. Now, we all know that if you want to switch on a mobile, then there must be a battery inside the cell or inside the mobile. Without the battery, the mobile will not function. You cannot keep it on. You cannot do the various applications. It's not possible because it needs energy to run. Similarly, similarly, for any living organisms, it needs energy to run. All living organisms, plants or animals, are made of hundreds and thousands and millions, trillions of cells. Each cell Each cell functions on its own and each cell requires energy. Now, this energy is possible only if a plant or an animal respires. Now, plant and animal respires, what is that? Means the food which is stored in the cell needs to be oxidized. Oxidized means it needs to be burnt. It needs to be oxidized, combined with oxygen. And then energy can then only be released. And this energy will be utilized by the living cells for various functions. So, what is respiration? If we go by the book, then we say respiration is the process of breaking down glucose. Glucose has to be broken down with the help of glucose has to be broken down to release energy. But this is done with the help of mainly oxygen, sometimes without oxygen also, that we will see. But for respiration to happen, oxygen is required. Mostly it is required. How does plants they get oxygen? Now, animals, they have mostly higher animals, they have a well defined, a modified system. We call the respiratory system, breathing system. There will be lungs, there will be nose through which the oxygen is taken in, it goes to the lungs, and then the oxygen is diffused into the bloodstream. Blood carries it to the various cells. But how will this plant, you see a plant here, I have drawn a plant here. How will this plant take in? It doesn't have lungs or nostrils. It will take oxygen through its surface. So all over from here, from the roots, here in the stem, or through the surface of the leaves. Is there any modified system? Let's see whether there is anything or not. I'm trying to show you this stoma, plural stomata first. Let's see what is there in the leaves or what is there in the tender part of the stems here, green part of the stems. So let me magnify it. Let me magnify. Okay, magnify further. Can you see that? Can you see this? Look at these arrows, red arrows. They're leading to tiny, tiny pores. Now, what are these tiny, tiny pores? These are the stomata, tiny pores guarded by guard cells that closes and opens when required. So, these are the stomata through which oxygen is taken in. And these stomata are also present in the branches and the stem. But what about the matured part of the stem, which is woody, which is with a thick layer of bark? Let's see. Let me take to the other part. Let's see here. So this is the leaf. Then we are coming down to the woody stem. Now I can magnify further. That is okay. This is okay. So here, what are these called? Lenticels. These are called lenticels. So look at here. What it shows. You see, just a minute, just a moment, hold on. Yes, what you see, look at here, there is an opening. These are called lenticels, just crack on the stems, and you find that the oxygen can go in, and then there is a many cells which are loosely arranged here. From there, it can diffuse into the surrounding cells. So these cracks or openings on the matured part of the cells, the stems, are called lenticels. Let me reduce the picture again once again. Okay. Now, okay, this is still bigger. Now, what about this part of the roots? How they take in oxygen through the surface. The roots take oxygen through the surface from the soil, and there at times certain plants grow on saline water. I have shown you this is the water, saline water. In that case, the roots cannot get oxygen from the soil. Therefore, the roots need to come out in the form of vertical roots comes out. Can you see? These are called breathing roots or pneumatophores. These are specialized roots to breathe. They are called pneumatophores. So what we have understood? We have understood so far. What is respiration? Oxidation. What is the need of respiration? To give energy. And how plants take in oxygen? Stomata, lenticels, through root surfaces, or specialized roots, pneumatophores. Now, we got this. Now, respiration types. If it takes in oxygen and oxidizes the food, then it will be called aerobic. Aerobic means with the help of oxygen. And if it doesn't require oxygen, but still it can break the food and release energy, then it is called anaerobic, means without oxygen. So these two I will discuss. Let me open a new page. Now look at this picture. Respiration, I am going to explain you exactly what happens during respiration. But before that, imagine that all the cells of a plant receive the oxygen. It has come here. It has come here. You can see the cell. And then inside the cell there are tiny organelles which I have drawn with white spots. You can see those. They are magnified. They are mitochondria. Singular is mitochondrion, plural is mitochondria. I have magnified one of that and have made this one huge one, magnified form of that white one, this one, mitochondrion. So this is the place in the cell where respiration will take place, where it will occur. Now how it looks like, just a simple one, I have explained you just a simple one and try to cut it here, this part is cut open to show you what is there inside. Otherwise it looks like a small sac. And you see there are two membranes. One membrane you see here, outer membrane, another membrane you see which is folded inside. Another membrane which is folded inside. That is the what you call cristae. You don't have to know in the lower classes, but in the higher classes it will be explained in details how it functions. So this mitochondrion or the mitochondria, which is also called the powerhouse of a cell, is the place where respiration occurs. Now two types of respiration are there. Aerobic, which takes in oxygen to break down the glucose, and anaerobic respiration, which does not require oxygen to break down the glucose. Now, in case of aerobic respiration, I'm not writing the equation here. Glucose, with the help of oxygen, it gives out carbon dioxide. It gives out carbon dioxide. Look at the products. Carbon dioxide will be given out, water will be given out, and energy. Energy in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. These are molecules, chemical molecules. So the energy will be stored in this form of chemical energy, ATP. How many? 38 ATP. 38 ATP. Why I mentioned this number 38? It's important because we will see here in the second case, it will not be 38, it will be much lesser. In aerobic and aerobic respiration, what will be the product? Product will be again carbon dioxide, no water, ethyl alcohol C2H5OH. Plants will produce this alcohol, ethanol or ethyl alcohol C2H5OH. You see, sometimes that smell comes out when you keep rice in water for a long time. That smell, that is ethyl alcohol. And energy will be only 2 ATP. Look at the aerobic, it was 38. Look at this one, only 2, and aerobic 38 ATP. So there is a big difference. Which one will be preferred? Aerobic, definitely, because it's giving more energy, 38 ATP. And what about anaerobic? It gives less energy. How much? Just 2 ATP. But in case of animals, there will be no ethyl alcohol produced. But instead, animals also respire anaerobically. But instead of ethyl alcohol, what is produced? Lactic acid. Remember, for animals, lactic acid. Sometimes when you a day which very tiring day for you, you went to picnic, you played the whole day, the next day you get a terrible pain, your muscles, no, leg and body, everything aches. That's because of lactic acid. So having said that, aerobic and anaerobic, know the differences, know the difference in the energy, 38 and 2. And having said that, now I'll go to the next one. I will tell you one experiment and then I will end. So let me change the page. Now look at this experiment. I have taken some germinating seeds. Gram seeds will do good. Germinating seeds means the seeds are soaked in water and then they have swollen up and they are ready to germinate, means the radical is ready to come out. So germinating means they become active, alive. And here another one for a control. These seeds are boiled, means they are dead. You can, after boiling, you can put a little bit of acid also, means to make sure that the seeds are dead. So we will repeat this experiment here also with the boiled and here with the germinating one. So what we do is, the germinating seeds, you see it carries one delivery tube and that is dipped into a little bit of liquid lime water. What is that? Lime water. That is, lime water means chuna pani. Its formula is CaOH whole twice, lime water. It is transparent only. When now carbon dioxide will be given out during respiration. That is what we are trying to show, that during respiration carbon dioxide is given out and it will come here and bubble through the lime water. As a result, this lime water will turn, the color will change, it will turn milky. What is the indication? That milky color is the indication that there is carbon dioxide. So respiration, what is produced during respiration? Carbon dioxide is produced. That we are able to show that. But if we do the experiment, repeat the experiment with this one, boiled seeds, then will it turn milky? No. So what is the purpose of this to do with the boiled seeds? It's a control to compare to any experiment to be done. it needs to be compared, which we call it the control. Then only it can be proved that during respiration, carbon dioxide is given out. So, what you have to remember the chapter, what is respiration, how plants take in oxygen through stomata, through lenticels, through specialized roots or pneumatophores, the two types of respiration, aerobic with oxygen and anaerobic without oxygen. In aerobic, the products you remember, okay, carbon dioxide, water, and energy is how much? 38 ATP. In anaerobic, you remember, no water but ethyl alcohol in plants and lactic acid in animals, and just 2 ATP. Remember that, just 2 ATP. All right, and this experiment showing that carbon dioxide is produced. See the differences between photosynthesis and respiration as well. Photosynthesis, just the opposite of respiration. Check it, I am not discussing here. All right, with this, I am ending my class today. Bye bye, children.